We're launching the glorious Hillningsfest weekend, and we're just so excited to see all of you. We're delighted today to dedicate the reopening of Wallerstedt Social Science, but I wanted to give you a little bit of history before I start. So the 8th president of Bethany College was actually the reason behind these buildings. And on October the 18th, 1970, which was 2 months before I was even born, he dedicated these buildings that had just been built. So the Wallerstedt Library, Social Science, Warner Hall, and actually Mingenbach were all dedicated on the same day. And in October, I'm sure it was a glorious October day in 1970. And I'll tell you, they mentioned that the cost for these two buildings was $1 million to build both these buildings. Let me just tell you that the cost to renovate this building was in excess of $1 million. So that will tell you about the different costs. I have found inspiration from our 8th president, Arvin Hahn, in how we think about Bethany College. And so I want to just talk a little bit about what he said during that dedication, and then talk about what that means for us today as we translate it. So he said, because Bethany was at that point coming out of a very rough patch, and he said, Bethany will need miracles to survive significantly as an independent college in Lindsborg. Then he said, but only God can make a miracle. What he said was that men, and I'm going to say men and women, can do is pray for one, but to engage in efforts which will affect great positive change. Engage in efforts. So we can't just be praying, we have to engage in efforts. And he said this is the simple contention that we believe. He then identified 4 essentials to help this college make the miracle. And those were that the effort had to have purpose. So Bethany College is currently embarked upon a strategic planning process and a campus master plan to give us some sense of how, master plan being the physical plant that we have here on campus. That strategic planning process is going to be based in the sense of something that we're calling path to your purpose. So we don't just believe that we're sending you out to have just jobs. We want you to have a meaningful life and a meaningful purpose and a meaningful job after you've graduated from Bethany College. That is our fundamental purpose. He talked about something that he had that was called aims of the college, which was a life for selfless service to God and country. So that strand still goes back to Arvin Hahn. Second, however, what he said was that you had to have detailed and effective planning. And I would really like to reiterate that. That's why the Campus Master Plan is so important. One of the things that we have to ensure as we are looking at all of the progress that we'd like for Bethany College to see is that we have to have a plan. We've got to think about where we want to go and how we're going to get there. And these processes, the strategic plan, the Campus Master Plan will provide those for us. Third that's essential is participation. And I just want to tell you how warmed my heart has been through these projects. And I just want to talk about a few of the things that our faculty, staff, and students have done, especially in these last couple of weeks. So what we're standing on here, the finished building, which we will ribbon cut for a few minutes, was finished, I think, only a couple of days before classes began. But we still had a lot of cleanup to do. We had to clean up some of this over here. We had to lay sod. There was a lot of dirt on all of this patio. It was our students and our faculty and our staff and also our crews who came out to ensure that this building looked beautiful today. And that is the thing to me that means the most about Bethany College. It's that participation, but a participation among all of the different groups. And I just want to thank you all for that. And the fourth is persistence. And I love persistence too. So that when we fall down, we got to stand right back up. And so as we move towards this planning phase over the next couple of years, we have to understand that sometimes some of the plans we make will not work. For our students, I want you to understand that too. Some days you're going to fall down. You're not maybe going to do so well on the test. For those of you that are student athletes, maybe you won't do quite as well in the field as you're thinking. Stand up and do it again. because that truly is the one way that we all have been doing this at Bethany College. And so those 4 pillars still guide us today as we are rededicating this building. Now, what I'd like to do is just thank a couple of folks and talk about the way we've done this and how I'm thinking we're going to do it in the future. So Doug Dutton is in here. Doug is our project shepherd for this project, and he has really ensured that this building, as we've gone through, worked. What we see that was 100 days from tear down to put back up. Very difficult. Amy Bauer, who is the head of administration, has made sure that all of the pieces have gone. And Dean, who's the head of our facilities now, has, again, been out here organizing folks. I find him here some days on Saturday mornings just cleaning things up. So I want to thank all of them. We want to thank Weens Construction, who has been the one that was in this building, and Jones Gillen Renz, most particularly Mark Applequist. But I'd like to talk a little bit about the Applequists and what they have meant to us here at Bethany. So Roy and Donis came to see me, I think it's almost 2 years ago now, and we talked about the fact that they wanted to ensure that Bethany College would be moved along this path. And one of the things we talked about was the renovation of what we first thought was going to be 3 residence halls, but wound up being Warner Hall. And they were very dedicated to ensuring that the students had good residence hall facilities, and we talked about that. But one of the things that they have said to me, and I think challenged me with, is this sense of not only taking a gift, but really looking at how we can take that gift and leverage it to make it something even bigger. And so I accepted that challenge. And one of the things we've been doing at Bethany is working to make sure that one gift will last for a lot longer. And so what we did with that gift was we leveraged their gift to also get some grants from foundations. Another major donor came in, and then we had a campaign because one of the donors, one of the foundations wanted us to do a matching campaign, which we did. So there was also a lot of donors who came in who can feel a part of this. And I think that is the way that we have to continue to do this. And so their gift turned into not only renovating Warner Hall, which we'll dedicate next year, but renovating this building, and also what we'll do is renovate Gregory Hall. And those are the kinds of transformational things that we can do here at Bethany to really ensure that we have the best experience for our students, which again is all where this comes down to, is all for our students as they are on the path to their purpose. So thank you all for coming today. Doug, I'm going to ask you to cut the ribbon, and then we will do a tour for any of those of you who would like to come in.
And I'm going to ask for some help. Dr. Pig has spent 50 years taking care of this building and working here, and Professor Carlson over 40 years. They've been a major part of Bethany College and the success that's kept us going, so I'd really like them to help me do this. Back will let Joyce do the honors.
Here, put your hand on there too, Bob. There you go.
Thank you. I know many of the students have seen the inside of this building, so you don't feel that you have to come. But if there are any of you who would like to see what we were thinking, maybe see in some of the offices, we would love to have you come on a tour with us now. So thank you all for coming.